The dawn of a new era in European rugby competition continues here in Lisbon. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Game 2 of the Rugby Europe Super Cup on match weekend number 1. Alongside Ali Engelhardt, I am Tom Eschen. Thank you so much for joining us here today. This match between Lusitanos from Portugal and Castilla y Leon Iberians from Spain. We saw earlier today the debut match, Delta take down the Brussels Devils, and now the second match of this new era, this Rugby Europe Super Cup, this new competition. The players are ready, the teams are, and so are we, Ali, and this Super Cup, what a cool opportunity for the players, teams, and fans alike.
Thanks, Tom. What an absolutely stellar performance we saw earlier this afternoon with the Delta getting the edge over the Brussels Devils. It's great to be here following the coverage and calling the first few matches of the new Rugby Europe Super Cup. An excellent opportunity for these young players across Europe to advance, develop, and improve their nations, have higher opportunities across the European club scene, and eventually compete at the highest level, earning positions on their national teams and driving towards the Rugby World Cup in 2 years' time.
This is the second match of the Western Conference. The first, of course, that matchup between the team from Belgium and Netherlands earlier today. So the 4 teams in the Western Conference, Belgium, Netherlands, Portugal, and Spain. Then the Eastern Conference consisting of Tel Aviv out of Israel, NSA from Russia, Lokomotiv Penza also from Russia, and Georgia, the Black Lions squad. They are in the Eastern Conference. We'll see the Russian teams go at it tomorrow. But the second match of the first weekend of Western Conference play starting here today. Here is the team from Spain that we'll get to see on display, the Iberians, and you look at them headed by Miguel Velasco here today. Ali, what's in store from this side?
Honestly, it's an unknown from my point of view. These guys are young players across Spain. We're looking at a few experienced additions who are going to lead it from up front. I think their hooker, Milo Janamo, is a true gladiator, frontline fighter, they say. So we're excited to see him in action.
Yeah, absolutely. And the team you just saw there flash up from the Portuguese side of things is a little more experienced. The heavy contingent from their national side, including their captain, Tomas Appleton. He's someone that we'll be able to watch here today, the inside center, number 12. As we are prepared and ready for kick here, it's a beautiful day, 74 degrees. Jonathan Dufort is our referee. Sunny skies in Lisbon. A wonderful September day. And kicking off for the first time in the Rugby Europe Super Cup, and away we go. The kick gathered by the Iberians. Opening tackle and breakdown, and into the Iberians territory are the Os Lobos.
The Lobos expecting to play some fast and flowing rugby, similar to the Delta. Expectations are that they're going to try and pick up the momentum, keep the defense from able to get set, and exploit the space that's going to create from their speed off the play.
We saw experience play a factor in our first match of the Super Cup, with the Delta team being a bit more experienced than the Brussels Devils. Some nice footwork there by Nungetch. And choosing to then take a kick is Elvar Gimeno. Just about 1 minute into 40-minute halves in store here today. Inside already, the 22 are the Portuguese. That whistle came before that catch, so it'll be Portugal already with an opportunity here.
Just like the first match of the day, these teams are going to settle into it, get points on the board early, create that cushion, and then they're going to be able to play the game plan that they want to play.
The Lusitanos headed by Patrice Laguisquet, their head coach. This Portuguese side has had a lot of success on the national level and the international level of the World Rugby, especially the U20. So we talked about the youth here and being a big part of this Rugby Europe Super Cup. And you're going to see a lot of some of their better players on display here today. as Getch takes the first kick. And we didn't get a chance to see the referee's flag, so pausing as we wait to see if Getch was able to make it.
I believe he slotted the 3 points, creating the first points on the board.
All right. Thank you, Ollie. That's why you're here, Ollie. Noon Getch, a big name in Portuguese rugby, the 26-year-old getting the first 3 for Lusitanos. It's 3-0 here in the first opening moments. Lusitanos able to get that penalty and choosing the kick, getting those 3 points.
Stop! 5!
Box kick for the exit. Up so high, it might come down with snow on it.
5-3.
In baseball, you call that a home run in a silo, Ollie, right there.
Run front of the kicker. 5.
Offside's the call. 5. You cannot advance before you're put onside by players who are starting behind where the ball was kicked from. A great opportunity for the Iberians to equal the score, create that tension early on in the first half.
Already looks like another kick on the way, so could be 3-3 here early on. A little bit tougher angle here for the Iberians. See, there is a breeze. You can see the background of your picture, the lovely environment here. The trees are moving about 15 to 20 miles an hour. And that kick up and good. So another 3 on the board, and it's all knotted up here. 3-3, about 4 minutes into the action. It's a good response there by the Iberians in drawing a penalty and able to get the kick.
An exciting start. Cannot wait to see what these teams are doing once they settle into the match. First points on the board by both. It means their players are able to just breathe a little bit easier, get set, and get ready. Great take from the kickoff, earning the ball back.
Portugal will set up and build here to the open side. Here's Getch.
Back.
Just a quick look at what the Portuguese team was doing there. Wide passes off of the base of the breakdown. They're playing with a little bit extra width than what we saw in that first match with the Delta and the Devils. It seems like they want to push that a little bit wide. Trust that their backs are able to make those long passes and exploit the space.
That one sent ahead into the 22. Katz. Manila. One of the bigger names in this squad. And that is sent into touch. Looks like it's going the way of the Portuguese. They choose first scrum.
Yellow.
Great gather there by Sebastian for Aya.
A great attacking set piece the Portuguese have right now. All started from that kick receive. High ball went up. Maybe the sun's in their eyes, but they received that high ball off the kickoff, winning possession back for the Portuguese team. An incredible, great skill for the kickoff. Young players take note. Infringements at the penalty, infringements at the breakdown. We saw that last match as well. Referees are going to be very strict here. You cannot expect to have any leniency if you're breaking the laws around the breakdown. That one there, hands off your feet at the breakdown. You cannot be trying to seal. You cannot come off and put your weight down on your hands. You must maintain and create that pressure by staying on your feet and driving through.
And it looks like the Lusitanos have once again elected to kick, so trying to get another 3 on the board. Getch made one a moment ago, trying to make this one here too.
It's a good decision by the Portuguese team to try and get those early points, create that buffer, settle into the match. This is the first match in a new competition. This is the right decision here.
Getch, a member of Team Portugal since the year 2020. He's played in it since 2020. And here is the kick. That looked good to me, and it is good. Could see that one all the way there, Ali. It's now 6-3. Lusitanos with the lead.
The 26-year-old Getch made his test debut versus Romania in February of 2016. Is that right?
Yes, that would be correct. His first few moments here wearing these colors, and of course has gone on to be one of the bigger names over the years, and one of the bigger names today. He's accounted for all of the Os Lobos points. See the response from the Iberians.
A fantastic execution of one of the new World Rugby Law trials here being implemented in the Super Cup. The 50-22 log. What this means is the Iberians, they received and kicked that ball from inside their 50-meter, and it went out of bounds inside the opponent's 22. They win back the ability to throw the line out. That's a fantastic attacking opportunity. It's a great new law trial that the World Rugby has implemented. We're seeing it executed fantastic at the Super Rugby and in the Rugby Championship.
So there, despite the fact it goes into touch after the kick because it happened inside there, they get the chance to get the line out. So it's the Os Lobos who now kick the opposite direction into the Iberians' territory.
Breakdown penalties again.
There, the Iberians playing the advantage, so they kept on going with play. Iberians building here in Os Lobos territory.
Good patience from the Iberians. Not trying to do a little bit too much early on in the game. Settle into this. Strong carries, just knocked on there in the contact point.
It was a nice hit at the contact point, able to jar the ball loose and get it back on the deck here.
A little bit of the commentator's curse, I think. You know, just speaking about what they're doing well, and the knock-on comes right after that.
It's not your fault, Ali. It's okay. You're just telling us what you see. I don't believe in those curses. I don't know about you. Are you a superstitious player? You got to do the same thing every game day and whatnot?
No, you can't have any rituals. Nothing can go wrong if you never have a set routine. You know, just stay comfortable. You know, we talk about getting game ready, getting mentally prepared for the match. It affects you not only on the field but off the field. So just staying calm, keeping your emotions under check, making sure that you're able to think about your next job. You know, these players are going to have their emotions running high, the excitement, the blood is pumping. For them, just settle into it. Think about the small things. Control the controllables. I love that saying, and I think it's really crucial for especially the excitement of a new competition.
I'm also a proponent of that, Ali. The whole other not having a plan so nothing goes wrong. That whole thing, the rituals thing, that's a whole different concept. We'll have to get into that at a different time off air. I like to control the controllables, though. That's one way to do it, and that's usually tried and true. You hear that a lot, which is good from most successful athletes and coaches.
A well-earned scrum penalty early in the match. We'll see how that plays out later as we go through this. Scrums being a big one. You know, the Delta were able to get a shove and a shin on over the Devils earlier in the day. Exciting to see how the front row compare between each of these teams today.
The Delta moving to 1-0 as the Brussels Devils fall to 0-1 here in group play. They'll play 6 matches over the course of the next few months. This Rugby Europe Super Cup sort of designed to help develop rugby in the countries outside of the Six Nations, and not only the country and what they do, but the players as well, help prepare them for their national teams and help them compete at a higher level. And this sort of bridging that gap of just, you know, continuing to develop the sport and grow it as well.
That throw is Wonki's leading tower, earning the Iberians a scrum off the base of the Portuguese line-out.
Sit.
Good platform.
Stalemate there. Yeah, absolutely.
Well-read defensive effort led up by number 13 on the Los Lobos.
Vash Ribeiro. Something to watch for with these Iberians are, and we talked about the Lusitanos and how maybe they're a little more cohesive, a little more experienced. There is great individual quality beside of the Spanish, Miguel Velasco saying that. So that's something to watch for. Guys like Facundo Manila, Calocalo Gavidi, Feta Castiglione, those players are guys that certainly could stick out. And we saw that, of course, in our first match of the day. We saw some of those guys, you know, go in and almost steal the match, if you will, for the Delta side.
Moments like this have a huge impact on the game. The quick turnovers. We see that players with a little bit of experience are going to have an edge on at the breakdown. They know when they can go over and go for that, compete for that ball, when to stay out. You know, finding the right opportunity to have a go is always a key balance when you have it under pressure like this. Really exciting to see that players are taking that opportunity, creates opportunities in the 22, kick deep, have a chance to score some points.
No side maul.
A whistle there after the maul.
Accidentally, scrum. No, the same maul.
The maul, what the referee is saying here is that the maul was never set, and so the players are creating an offside position, driving forward into a player with the maul has collapsed off the base of the line-out. The maul was never set, so the rules or the specific laws around the maul are not into play. So an accidental offside caused from the ball being driven into the back of the player in front of the player with the ball.
So from there, we'll reset with a scrum for the Iberians.
Crutch. Bind. Set.
Iberians moving forward, gaining some ground here.
Stop yellow, stop yellow. 12.
Exciting counter-attack opportunity here.
Just about to say, looking for the counter. This is Appleton, their captain, the 28-year-old leader. And the whistle was the scrum.
Play on. Left.
Looks so far and fairly evenly matched, you know, and in terms of physicality and tactics on both sides. About, you know, quarter of an hour in here, Ali.
Yeah, very evenly matched. It seems both teams are looking to build that momentum, push the pace a little bit. I think the Iberians, the Spanish team, they're hoping that their experience, their coordination amongst the players, the connections that they've built over the last few weeks and maybe years between the players, are able to take that a little bit of advantage, settle into the game, and get some build the phases. Great attacking platform they have here.
Here's the scrum. Good drive of the Iberians. Didn't allow that scrum to rotate. You see that right side by Andres Alvarado doing a good job of that to tie that prop.
A well-earned scrum penalty here. Surely I think they'll go for 3 points, even up the scores again.
So there we go. There's your decision that Ali had alluded to, and the Iberians looking for some points. It will once again be Samuel Katz, the fly half. Made his first one. Now looking to tie this thing up. All kicks so far. Trying to go 4 for 4 here on both sides.
38 meters away from the post, dead in front. I think he's got the legs for it.
And that is also good. So that ties it up 6-6. Kicks abound so far here in Lisbon. 2 for Getch, 2 for Katz. Whole new ball game. It's all tied up. Neither side able to do a whole lot of work in the other's 22 thus far, but so far working and capitalizing on those penalties. What a grab there going up top. Rodrigo Marta. Athletic play.
The second of the day, is that right? Earlier with, with a restart, collected, a great skill set.
Pedro Lucas getting tackled there in the middle by Muala.
Speed of their attacking cycles, drawing the Iberas offside, creating that opportunity.
One offside.
Nice release there on the ground by Duarte Torgal. And we are 20 minutes into the action, midway through this first half, 6-6. We are tied up. As Ali mentioned, a penalty now, and Getch will look for his third kick, gathering the tee.
It's difficult to see in the right. Maybe, I don't know.
You can see some of Lisbon there in the background. Like I said, beautiful day, beautiful setting for here this match. Super Cup debut for Portugal and Spain. The kick from Gedge is good. He is 3 for 3 today. 9 points, all on that leg of Getch. Portugal, a 9-6 advantage. The kickoff by the Iberians.
Good ball movement there in the midfield, shifting the point of contact away from where they're expecting, turning those meters up the field.
Like that was a penalty for the release on the Portuguese side.
Spot on. As soon as that ball hits the deck, you've got one movement to get that backwards. A really well-timed counter attack at the breakdown there. Well released, went straight over the ball. Well held, and good balance to maintain that possession, even with pressure, the defensive clear out coming through.
Iberians once again choosing to kick, and we have some bubbles being blown over the course of this match. Anything to keep the kids entertained while they're watching a rugby match, right? The ambiance. Cats looking to go 3 for 3. It's been a battle between him and Noon Getch today. A whistle. We'll have to wait a few moments now.
You coach. Two coach. The first and the last. Okay? The first, we go to talk. The first and the last.
It's the first and the last of something.
Perhaps some language being yelled over from the coach. Have a little word.
Jonathan Dufont, our official. That's Appleton, the captain. Appleton also, in his day job, a dentist in Lisbon. So I'm wondering if some of those smiles you see maybe in the stands supplied by Appleton. In more ways than one. The kick from Katz. And I believe that, Ali, you're Johnny on the spot here. You've got the Hawkeye.
No good. No good from the kick here. Oh, maybe it was good.
On the board, there you go. You're 1 for 2 today.
Looks like it's a 22 dropout for the reset off the base of an unsuccessful kick.
I didn't see the flag go up either, but I just didn't know if I missed it. So you don't miss a trick.
Very good steal here at the breakdown by number 6. On the charge through the midfield.
It's Faraya. The release out back to Faraya.
Great ball
Working
movement,
here to
creating
the
the space,
side.
creating the opportunities.
Back.
Iberians creeping a little bit offside.
Big hit there by Picao.
Lusitanos building the phases here. Just the ball going a little bit astray.
The Iberians continue to sort of string that out. And we're able to find the turnover now, looking to build themselves. Nice shove there to get Faraya back onside. And that one going into touch.
Well
on the
placed
fly.
relieving kick.
It'll be a line out here for the Portuguese. There is Appleton. Part of that CDUL club in Portugal. 20-time Portuguese champions. Up is Torgal.
Just a little fumble there from the 9.
Medical.
Looks like we might have a medical timeout here. Huddling around the Iberians and Os Lobos as well. So our referee goes and makes sure everyone is okay. Jonathan Dufont, a Frenchman. The Iberians, Miguel Velasco, saying that they've had about 6 training sessions in common. They thinks that should help them become fairly well coordinated. Like I said, they've got some individual marks that should make an impact.
Yes. Inside 50.
And Portugal also with a lot of those national players from their side there, and currently sitting in second place in the Rugby Europe Championship.
Clutch. Bind. Set.
And here is the scrum. Iberians seeing what they can do and trying to capitalize. There's a push once again, but the penalty going the way of Portugal.
Referee indicating that the loose head on the far left-hand side is driving inwards. They used to call that boring, driving inwards against the prop on for the Lusitanos. You cannot do that. You have to maintain a straight drive through the center of the scrum. You cannot bore in or shift the momentum towards the inside of the neck.
That's a bit why you saw the scrum rotate a bit there. That was Nicolas Jurado.
J'irai à la prochaine. J'irai à la prochaine. Yeah, yellow.
Up is Faraya. Appleton. Into the middle, taken down by Gavidi. Lucas, now they work it up that blind side.
Non, c'est le yellow. C'est le yellow qui la ramène.
Ribeiro using some moves here in the middle, trying to find a crevice.
Multiple offenses here at the breakdown. As we mentioned, there's not going to be a lot of leniency for infringements around the contact point. Referee's just having a word. Straight off your feet after the contact, you cannot do that. A few more, we may see a card come for repeated infringements.
No, it's a yellow to play the ball and go in the pit. No clock on.
Another opportunity right in front of the post to stretch the scoreline by another 3.
And that seems to be the tactic so far when drawing that penalty. When you've got someone like Getch with that foot, and like you said, Ali, I mean, this has been the angle that they've had, and not much of an angle at that, a straight one. Getch 3 for 3 today. Takes his steps, and the kick is up, and that kick is, I did not see a flag go up.
Kick is good.
It's
3
good.
points. I got you.
So 12-6 here, Os Lobos. Getch with his 4th kick of the day, converted. Just getting that kick away was Getch.
Fantastic clearing kick to find the green grass behind the heads of the Iberians defensive players.
Iberians going through each other here, a little discombobulated in this set.
Offside.
Here's the offside call.
Similar infringements again and again around the breakdown. As soon as that's there, there's no need. Just stay out of the breakdown. look to reset and only take the opportunities when you really have a clear shot to get straight onto the ball. Roche just a little bit delayed. You have one opportunity. Your second attempt is an infringement.
Less than 10 minutes to go here in the first half. Los Lobos, a 12-6 lead as we have some medical attention being applied over there to Duarte Torgal. He'll shake it off and get back in there and play.
Wait.
It'll be a line out for the Iberians.
Stay at 10. Play on.
Here the play on in the ensuing maul.
Keep you one.
See, tilting the way of the Iberians and coming out with it and gaining precious meters. Inching inside, closer to that Portugal 22. Feels like the Iberians building, maybe for the first time here today, feels like that. Getting some momentum here.
Back the line.
Whittling away at this Portuguese defense and those forwards.
Back the line.
This is the patience coming in. They're experienced players. Not afraid just to keep driving, keep inching away towards the try line.
Ball's loose. And I believe the Portuguese come out on top here. That defense surviving blow after blow and then able to finally capitalize on a loose ball just a few meters away from the try line.
Right, left. At this point, the problem on this side. Okay, pushing on the axis. Okay, all. I will work with you. Okay.
Roche and Dorado getting a talking to. Before stops the clock here. Appears he might be listening for some sort of communication in his ear about what might have transpired. "34 minutes even into this first half.
Play. Here.
So Dufont is ready, as are we. Gonna reset right here, just a few inches away from that try line. When it's this close, Ali, what are the tactics?
You know, from here, the Lusitanos are looking to try and just exit cleanly. They want to put that pressure back away from their try line, get that ball deep outside the half if they can. A clean exit is really important here. Good from the base, pops it up. One set, and they should look to exit right away.
There you go. Just as Ali diagrammed, Appleton coming out with it there.
Stay.
So a nice defensive hold there by Portugal. And it felt like the Iberians were wearing away.
Not so much as a clean exit they were hoping for, I think. A slight knock on in the air. Looks like we have an option for a scrum or a line out.
Line out to scrum. Line out. Brood. Saignement. Brood. Saignement.
Like another player down here for the Portuguese side. This is where the Os Lobos were able to get out of that jam, getting a scrum and coming out with it, and you saw just missing that catch is Paiva de Santos. Less than 5 to go here in this first half of play.
The ball is out.
Second Western Conference game of the day between
The same
Portugal and Spain.
One ball is out. Play on. I will see the next. Okay, change. Change.
Zimoish, the injured player who will come off the field for a few moments. Looks like he'll be attended to, as plenty of blood running from his right leg there, as you can see. Zimoish, the number 8.
You see, red, yellow on the line.
So here's the line out.
Just inside the 22, a great platform. Balls up. All to play for still.
Alvarado actually caught that with plenty of space. And now, once again, Iberians will look to build, moving to this right side.
Use it. Back. 6. Back. Back. Wait.
Alvarado trying to use that big body to get inside. And another whistle looks like going the way of Portugal.
Costa right there with a great steal, relieving the pressure. This is the perfect penalty opportunity. They can pump that ball down, and then they will earn the throw into the line out.
Prop against prop there. Gerardo and Costa. It was Costa, 6 foot, 249 pounds. He's got 3 extra pounds on Gerardo. Apparently those were the pounds that worked in that situation. Able to get the penalty. Line out for Portugal. It's kicked forward after it looked like for a second it might fall into the hands of the Iberians in good territory. Instead, they'll reset deep in their own.
Yeah, hacked forward.
That ball goes to the touch. I apologize, Ali. What were you saying?
No, just hacked forward off a scrappy line-out throw. And he has set that phase and earned that ball in the air.
Outside 22. Stop, yellow, stop! Play on.
Scoring ball.
There's that high ball.
Knock on yellow. Advantage.
Marta can't get it. Getch does.
Knock on yellow. Knock on yellow. Advantage. No advantage. Place on the pressure.
For a few moments there, Portugal was playing the advantage, and then Dufont said, we're going to stop play here, especially with an injury on the field.
No, flare contest, knock on.
Say there's a mix on sort of all of these clubs. They've been given guidelines by Rugby Europe, World Rugby, on sort of some of the selections they can have and making sure most are from the home country and under a certain age, and you do see some veterans intertwine. I think that makes for a really interesting dynamic in a lot of these clubs, because you have veterans, you know, that sort of are the leaders, and then you have some of the young, a lot of young guys too, trying to make their mark. And I think that makes for an interesting combination when it comes to for bringing these teams together and forming a unit, you know?
Absolutely, you know, a good balance on the team. Young guns who are looking to try and explode onto the scene and really develop as a young player, whereas the experience of the older players who are able to just settle, say, these are the things we've learned. You really want to learn from players across the board. Young folks can bring in a lot of energy. The older players, the bulls on the team, you can lean on them for sure, the tried and true methods on the rugby field.
Crutch. Bind. Set.
Less than 2 minutes to go here, right around that time, until we've reached 40 here in this first half. Still 12-6, 4 kicks for Portugal, 3 for Spain.
Tackle without the ball.
2 for Spain, excuse me. The one by Katz was off the mark, so just 2. Meaning the score 12-6. No one in for a try just yet. We saw the Iberians get close a couple of times. Portugal able to do just enough to draw a penalty deep inside their 22. Keep the score here, 12-6.
The Iberians with some great attacking phases deep within the 22 of the Lusitanos. You know, the Lusitanos, on the other hand, great kicking. Another opportunity right in front of the pose. 40 meters out, but with the legs and the expertise here, I think this should be a secured 3-pointer.
I mean, if you got a weapon like Getch, you got to use it and continue to attack points on the board, especially here late in this half. These are important moments in this match in terms of momentum.
On the winger. 15. Back 1 meter more. Set. Yes.
Making it a little bit harder on Getch here. Back 1 meter more, as you heard Dufont say. He's 4 for 4 today. And here is the kick, and that one is no good. So Getch with his first missed kick of the day, and the final whistle will sound here in the first half. Though Getch made 4 other ones to give these Lusitanos a 12-6 advantage. As we head into halftime, the teams will head into the locker rooms, and we'll take a short break. We'll give you the highlights here in just a few moments in the Rugby Europe Super Cup here live in Lisbon, Portugal. So we take a look here at the highlights from the first half of play, Ali, and it fairly evenly matched, though we saw the leg of Getch come in handy, but at the same time, the Iberians maybe laid some inroads for the second half as well with some of their drives deep into the 22 of Portugal.
Absolutely. You know, the Iberians, very impressed with their style of play. A few opportunities just missed with a little bit of a sloppy errors right on the try line. But they did work themselves into the great attacking threats very early on. We saw them, their consistency, the pressure was building, inching their way forward. I think that's the experience of this team coming in, able to get themselves into positions where the threat is there. Unfortunately for them, it's the errors at the breakdown. You know, once the Lusitanos are building their pressure, it's the mistakes around off their feet, not rolling away in an offside position around the attacking breakdowns that's costing the Iberians, with the leg of Getch coming in handy, securing a 12-6 lead at the half.
Yeah, you look at sort of what has plagued the Iberians so far. How do you fix that? Is it just telling, you know, some of these players that you've got to be a little bit more disciplined, right? And that's maybe what they're hearing from Miguel Velasco?
You know, I think what they're going to hear at the halftime sheds is take your opportunities, but be restrained. Not every breakdown needs a counterattack. We know that we can force the errors when the opportunities are there, but it's the experienced players that really need to step up now and say, we have to spread out, we have to set our defensive wall and put them under pressure. The Lusitanos are not breaking their defensive wall. Let's back that. Let's trust our defense. Let's shut them down. Let's not compete excessively in the breakdown, and let's make sure that when we do, we are going to be in a successful position. We're not offside. We're not off our feet. We're doing it in the ways that don't infringe on the breakdown laws.
Well, those conversations continue. They're in the sheds. We will take a break and then get back to you with the second half in Lisbon, Portugal, here at the Rugby Europe Super Cup. The Iberians return to the pitch, as do some children here in Lisbon, Portugal, here this afternoon, as it's the Lusitanos with a 12-6 advantage over the Iberians after 40 minutes of play in the Rugby Europe Super Cup, our opening day. The first match saw Team Delta out of the Netherlands take down the Brussels Devils from the Belgium side of things, and now in game two, a good battle so far. Ali Engelhardt and Tom Eschen here along with you. Ali, in that first half, we saw a competitive battle. I mean, dominated by the boots, as they say, but I think we're in for a really good second half here. Ali, I believe we have briefly lost his headset. We will work to get that back as we get ready and set for the second half here. It'll be the Iberians kicking off. And a great gather there on inside the Os Lobos area. And deep into their territory we go. That's exactly what we saw here towards the end of that first half. I mean, the Iberians weren't able to get a try out of it, as Portugal were able to capitalize on a couple penalties, but the Iberians were able to sort of wear down at Portugal and that defense as time went on. I think that's what makes this for an intriguing second half, to say the least. It's the opening day of this Rugby Europe Super Cup. A brand new competition here in Europe. An opportunity for these players and teams to develop and grow and play some good rugby while they're at it. And I think that definitely is something to be excited about as we move in through these 6 rounds of group play. Top 2 teams in each conference, the Western and the Eastern, will advance to the semifinals later on in the month of April. Already a good start for the Netherlands and the Dutch. And now one of these, Portugal or Spain, looking to do the same.
It's okay.
A couple of neighboring matches here today.
No, I don't know. I don't think.
And now, once again, we'll have another opportunity as a kick. These teams not afraid to take that opportunity. Katz, so far today, he is 2 for 3, and that one, a chip shot, if you will. That is good. So already 3 points on the board for the Iberians. 12-9, they cut it 2-3. The game dominated by the boots. No tries, all kicks. So Kotz, the fly-half, atoning for his miss there. We saw Getch missed one as well. Getch is 4 for 5 today. Now 3 for 4 is Kotz.
Cheers, Tom. An excellent start for the Iberians.
Yeah, already getting that kick, Ollie. So big here as they get a good start to this second half. I thought they sort of had momentum in play at the end of that first half. They just weren't able to convert.
You know, a good start with a solid 3 points early on, get into that settled rhythm, build the momentum. We saw that in the first half. Both teams willing to take the kicks and build from anywhere on the field and try to take those early points. It's exciting. You know, we were just talking about the defensive and attacking structures. The defense from both teams has been very good. Well set, well arranged. A few mistakes around the breakdown is key to watch. Let's see if they can try and avoid any infringements, avoid those penalties. That's going to be really crucial for both teams. What I'm hoping to see, I hope that the Lusitanos, they're going to open it up a little bit, see if they can exploit some fatigued legs on the part of the Iberians. I believe this team's got some dynamic players, really good attackers. They're going to look to shift that ball, play a little bit wide, and burn a little bit of innovation. That's what they're hoping to see. That's where their expectations are.
And I don't think we've seen until
There
now.
they are.
Los Lobos into the 22, and there they are, breaking through. Manuel Picao.
A little bit of variation, that ball movement, that's going to come into play with the Lusitanos. I really think that they're going to try and open up and exploit cracks and crevices through the midfield.
I was just about to say to you, Ali, I don't think we've seen Portugal into the Iberians 22 today, but here we go. Now they are threatening. What a start.
Good ball movement out to the width, looking for that space, creating that numerical advantage.
Back, back.
They choose to
Good
go back
inside
the other
ball.
way, reversing course.
Tackle away.
Now the forward's going to work. Big hits in the midfield, looking to try and draw this fence, create that numbers. Good ball movement. It's the inch towards the try line.
There. They seem to be
Diving
getting
for the
closer
try.
and breaking through. Our first try of the contest going the way of Los Lobos.
An
An
exciting series of play leading up from a great attacking break. Like I said, it looks like the Lusitanos are going to try and create some variation in their game now. A little dynamic movement from the 9, an offload, and we're there right through. Patience and diligence on their attacking phases. No mistakes were needed. Just hold that ball, keep that momentum going forward. That was a well-earned team try from everybody contributing to a great game plan.
Whatever Patrice Lagasquet said in the sheds worked. First, Picao breaking through, and then they kept on weathering away after that. It was Duarte Dinish, the hooker for the 5. Now here's an opportunity at 2 more. And that is through for the 2. Portugal with a 19-9 lead here in the opening moments of this second half. Getch now with 14 of those 19 points today. Dinish is 25 years old, 6 foot 209, captain of that Portugal U20 team at one point in his career. So you know he has those leadership qualities, and you saw them breaking through. A big breakthrough for Portugal. Like I said, we're in shape for, I think, pretty good second half here. Nice takeaway there by Los Lobos.
Looking for the 50-22, going deep into the territory, driving them and putting the pressure back onto the Iberians.
That one sent into touch by Katz.
After the kick, offside. See, yes, it's possible to decide. The ball is out, penalty.
The referee just saying that the Iberians need to be careful that they aren't caught offside when the kick is made. I know that ball went into touch, but he's just letting them know if that had just stayed inside, they would have been the Lusitanos would have been awarded a penalty for offside play.
Appleton in the middle. To the outside, Marta.
Very good option here. Get that ball to the width. Marta puts the little kick on through. It just shifts that pressure back onto the Iberians. I know a lot of folks, you want to keep that ball in hand, especially when you're building the phases. That's not a bad option, just to put that into the 22, put the pressure on at the line out, and then have another opportunity in the set piece.
Yeah, and I think seeing Lusitanos in the first and second half, they rarely had it this deep in the first half, and now I think they're seeing the advantage of this position, and this has been a point of emphasis, it seems.
Back, back. Use it. Use it. Play on, play on.
Aggressive play here off the breakdown.
Only the last.
Beautiful day in Lisbon, Portugal, right around 74 degrees. It is a little breezy, about 15-mile-per-hour winds, but as you can see, the sun is shining. The young ones are here watching this Rugby Europe Super Cup, day 1, round 1. Tomorrow, the 2 teams from Russia will play, NSI CSM and Lokomotiv Penza. Ali and I will be on the call for that as well. Full weekend of rugby here. 19-9, Os Lobos with the lead. Pical breaking through.
Great ball movement, shifting the point of contact and directing the meters up the field.
That ball squirted loose, picked up by Paiva dos Santos.
It's okay, 50.
Looks like we'll have a scrum here going the way of the Iberians.
Hooker. Hooker, play on. Left, left.
Getch, his duties at fullback. He's really fulfilled his duties kicking-wise here today.
Bind. Set.
Sent in by Manila.
Very good platform here. Well earned scrum penalty. Just the Lusitanos was just losing their bind on the front right-hand side here.
Travaille avec micro ouvert. Travaille avec micro ouvert, comme ça. Ou à l'ancienne, ça. Space. Open. Wait.
And the line out goes the way of the Iberians. By Velez.
Back. No advantage. Come back here. Knock on red.
You heard that whistle and then the no advantage call played. As now we will restart and go once again with another scrum for the Iberians. Portugal, one of those teams alongside Spain. Both of these teams in the Rugby Europe Championship in the last championship pool. Tells you some of the talent that's out here, but also outside of these 6 nations and trying to grow the talent below them as well and trying to make these countries stronger. And these players stronger for their national teams, of course, with the World Cup and whatnot in mind.
It's a great opportunity for the players not only to compete at the highest level, but also to engage in that everyday performance environment. You know, it really makes a difference when these players are around each other year after year, working with the high-level coaches, working on their skill development. It's more than just a 6-week camp leading up to an international test match. These players get to live in this full-time training environment, have the opportunities to compete and train at the highest level, and hopefully earn opportunities to pull up other players as they get looks from Pro 14 clubs, championship clubs, looks from overseas. It's going to help their nation. It's going to help younger players in the area.
And we talk about 2023 as we should so much, but also there's a lot of youth out here. I mean, 2027. You know, what happens then is also, you know, this could also have an impact well down the road in the future. Little chippiness between the two causing an extra whistle, I believe, going against the Iberians.
Original scrum penalty was for the Iberians. A well-rode drive through the scrum. The chippiness, the talk after the whistle, it's unacceptable in the eyes of the referee. Flipping that penalty. Not often you see that, but it's definitely something that you want to keep an eye out. Double infringement there, might see someone leave the field.
We have a whistle, Jonathan Dufont. Clock still remains running. You're at 54 minutes.
Necessary. I decide. Okay, it's not necessary.
Referee just saying there it's not necessary, and he's absolutely right. Don't give you just won an incredible opportunity for your team to into the 22, drive it in for a scrum penalty, a maul penalty, or drive it over the line for a try. Don't give it away, and now you're under the pressure again.
It's Jonathan Dufont from France. He's run a tight ship today. He's done a pretty good job, I think, of sort of squelching some of these extracurriculars when they've come up.
Dufont's been very clear in his communication, very consistent. The players are going to know what to expect. Stay out of the breakdown if you're in a illegal position. Don't infringe. Make sure you roll away. Stay on your feet. Similarly at scrum time, he expects a clear and straight drive. Don't bore in. Don't shift your bind. Like his clarity, and it's been helping the players improve.
Saw there David Costa come out, the 22-year-old, replaced by Wow Matouche, a 31-year-old veteran. Another prop.
Okay, open the gap. Okay, thank you.
And there you go, Ali, as you were saying, it was pretty clear in what he wants to see here. And that looked like a throw that was not parallel down the line. Seemed to be right at Duarte Torgal. So Iberians look like they have elected to scrum and try to start building here once again, as they'll have to start working a bit here. They only have those 3 kicks today, 2 in the first half, 1 in the second, still without a try. 19-9, Portugal leading.
Crutch. Bind. Set.
Fed in there by Munida.
Play on. No infringement.
Good drive there by the Iberians. They'll pick up some yardage, but the ball bounces free, turned over. Well, that play popped up and over by Portela.
Back.
Dufont keeping the Iberians on sides, and they're waiting for it was Favre. But they'll whistle
Almost
that before Favre.
Almost an exciting interception there in the midfield. Just knocked on as he went to get that ball.
Favre was almost home free.
I think they're going back for the original advantage from the knock-on off the set piece.
Nine. Wait, 9. Wait, 9.
In comes Joie Belot. Now will fulfill the scrum half duties, placing Pedro Lucas. Bello, 26 years old, replacing the 20-year-old Lucas. So you see Portugal here with some of those veterans, and we talked about a heavy contingent of their national side now bringing in the 31-year-old Matouche and now the 26-year-old Bello.
Coach! Bind! Pre-engage, yeah, reset. Pre-engage. Space. Space, space. Pre-engage. Reset. Clutch.
19-9 as we approach an hour of play here.
Sit.
It's about 20 minutes to go. It's a pretty big scrum. Another good push by the Iberians. Spanish get that whistle as well.
Holding
Trying
on
to get
is the
some
call.
momentum.
Holding on is the call there, as we got some great defensive pressure from the Iberians.
Yeah, it feels like they're trying to will themselves sort of back into this and give themselves an opportunity to get the momentum back. A lot of energy from their side.
They absolutely are, and they ought to be. You know, this is a game that is very much within their reach. They just need to continue to build that pressure, get themselves into the right side of the field, and not compound mistakes. You know, they had that early opportunity there, a little bit chatty after the whistle was gone, cost them a penalty opportunity. You know, this is now, they're in a great position here. Line out in the 22, they may look to maul or do a trick play to get that ball out and try and crack the defensive wall of the Lusitanos.
Yeah, it feels like that the Spanish should be able to be a little bit closer here. You know, it's almost been inevitable, but they've been held quiet here in the second half by Portugal and also by themselves.
Here's this excellent driving maul. We see the long worm out the back. The ball's there, keeping that possession, keeping that pressure as they build and rotate around.
Yeah, they gained about 10-15 meters off of that. Staying in the field of play.
5 meters out now.
Closer.
Here's where the big boys go to work. The forwards are going to around the corner, looking to drive in through. Latch and bind, making sure they keep that ball back and recycle quickly.
And a brief whistle.
Playing advantage from the collapsed maul. Iberians will get another opportunity to try and execute here and earn some points.
Let's see what they decide. Down 19-9. And they'll look to get a line out here. You see the kick just about,
their maul.
I don't want to say 10 meters away from the try line.
Looks like it's just on the 5 meter line here. Their maul has been executing very well. Pistons firing. They get that ball back really fast. It's safe. It's protected from the Lusitanos, and then they're able to just keep that drive. A little bit astray off the lineup, but it looks like they still have the ball.
They do keep possession. On the doorstep here, Santa Cruz. Fighting for the finish.
Very good.
Great dump off and the try. The Iberians finally break through with Siusila Muala, the number 8.
That was a fantastic line by Moala to get the momentum. He was hissing onto the ball, and all he had to do was catch that nice crisp pass from the scrum half and dive over the line. It was brilliant.
Those are a big 5 points on the board here. Like I said, they felt like the momentum, and the Iberians were trying to create their own momentum here, Ali, and they do just that. 19-14. Approaching the final quarter hour of this one. It's a big conversion here as well. This can cut it to 3. And it's good from Katz. 19-16. Los Lobos leading. It's getting tighter as time is growing shorter. Another kick for Katz. His first conversion of the day. He's made the other 3 threes. Jordan Ergarik stepping on to the pitch for the first time today. What a play! Unbelievable catch! And the finish, the try, Rodrigo Marta.
This seems to be a weakness from the Iberians. 3 kick receives, but the Lusitanos have 1 back themselves today. Now, that's not often that one might see that in a rugby match. You want to make sure that you focus on you do one thing well, you score a try, you have to focus on the next job. You can't slip up just because you did one thing well. And it seems that the Iberians, they just let their heads drop for a moment. You know, great heads-up rugby from Lusitanos to earn back that ball, stay on its feet, drive, and score, dive in for the try for an extra 5-pointer. That's a brilliant comeback for a 5-point try on the other side of the field.
A Team Portugal player from the youth teams on up, the 21-year-old Marta. A huge play, a huge answer after we just saw the Iberians have their first try of the day, and Portugal comes right back just seconds later with one of their own. This conversion now to make it a 10-point advantage. Catch with 5 kicks today total. He's only missed 1. And there is the kick. And
heard it off the metal of the post.
We can only know by the sound. That's all we need to know. Unfortunately, no good. You hear the rattle of the post here, reverberating around Lisbon. There's another look. High on the up. I mean, he's got a leg and a half, man. Almost hit that up over the upright.
Stop, what? 16, stop, run.
A whistle there, and then a kick by the Iberians to get things back on the other side.
Similar warning received from the Iberians just a few moments ago. Referee, again, very clear in his communication. If you are offside and progressing before you're put into an onside position, there will be a penalty. Simple mistakes going to cost them 3 points here, it looks like.
After the kick. After the kick. Maria, after the kick, the substitution. After the kick, after the penalty kick.
So here comes the kick from Katz. There on the right side. And that is good. So Katz with a kick. And just like that, because of the penalty, the Iberians cut the lead to 5. They are 1 try short. That's his 4th today. He's made 4 penalties and also a conversion. Same for his counterpart, Getch. So Manila will also come off here. Both teams making some changes here for the final few pushes of this one. Portugal trying to repeat history here with Marta, who has been unbelievably good in the aerial game.
It's something Iberians are going to have to look at. The kick received, it's so crucial that you nail it. You've got to get that ball, have a clean exit, and set yourself up for success again. Repeatedly, they've missed that opportunity to just receive off the kickoff. I wonder if that's a little bit of miscommunication or unclarity on the roles at that kickoff point.
Santos taken down here in his own territory. Five-point game in the second half.
Sending that ball soaring high, putting the pressure back onto the Iberians. Contestable up in the midfield.
We saw Katz go up, try and gather.
The same repeated infringements of the same format. Referee's been clear here. He expects that the players have to retreat until they are put into an onside position when that kick is made. They have to retreat backwards until a player behind the player that kicked the ball advances in front of those players that are retreating. He expects that. It's very clear.
He has said it several times, Ali. I mean, he said that more than anything else, it feels like, in this match. Like, enough's enough. He's got to be getting frustrated at that.
Exactly. Both that and the breakdown penalties. It seems like they've fixed a little bit of the issues around the breakdown. In the second half, that's been a story of the offside line. You know, players have to switch on, otherwise they're going to give away 3 points repeatedly throughout the game. What we saw in the first half, and it seems to be the story of the second so far.
Portugal leaning on the leg of Getch.
Okay, don't stay cool.
4 penalty kicks today. 12 points there. He's made a conversion. This would be a big one. Make the lead 8. There is the kick into the sky and off. Just a little wide left there. Missed opportunity for Os Lobos. It's still a 5-point game. Iberians now will kick and chase. Down to single-digit minutes here. We're within about 10. 10 to go here in Lisbon in this Rugby Europe Super Cup battle between Portugal and Spain. As you hear Jonathan Dufon telling yellow to stop, as we had mentioned a few times today. Those kicks trying to keep everybody on side. Getch working his way through. Getch dumps it off. Paiva dos Santos, what a move! Reaching for the line. Paiva dos Santos. Another try for Portugal.
Player of the day from Getch, who just breaks that line. He cuts through it like smooth butter. You know, off the restart, off the kickoff there, you've got to be able to come up in a defensive wall. You don't want to let this happen. A little bit of miscommunication between the inside and outside defenders there. Getch just slides right through, looks to his right. He sees he's got 2 extra men, opts for the long pass. And number 11, Paiva dos Santos has the legs to get over it. Make that hard right-hand step. He still has some work to do and get over the try line for a sweet 5-pointer. 8 minutes to play, and that was a beautiful stretch of action right there.
Well, we've seen the boot of Getch all day long, but that time the legs as a whole doing it for him, picking him up, putting him down. A little hesitation there, juke, if you will, and then a wonderful dump to Paiva dos Santos, who did the rest as well. Showing some agility and strength, the 20-year-old. Another Team Portugal product coming on up through their youth teams. Tough angle here for Getch. That one squirts away to the right, so Getch has missed his last 2 now. But nonetheless, a 10-point advantage for Portugal. Similar to our first match of the day here, Ali, between Delta and Brussels, you've seen some of that athleticism and explosive plays from Portugal. I haven't necessarily seen that from the Iberians today, sort of the similar Delta and Brussels matchup in terms of their styles.
You know, I think the Lusitanos, they've got a really exciting brand of rugby that they're playing. You know, they're not afraid to have an opportunity from anywhere on the field. I think the one thing, though, is they want to be playing inside the half of the Iberians, which is a great strategy. They want to be in the right part of the field. I think my analysis here is that both teams' defensive structures have been well run. They're not letting too many breaks until about that 60th minute mark. We didn't see any breaks through the midfield. Once the fatigue creeps in, the holes are opening up. We see that the Lusitanos are able to exploit that. Maybe the Iberians just haven't had the consistency, haven't looked for the same opportunities that the Lusitanos has.
And those kicks, especially from the first half, sort of adding up, you know, over time, those Iberians penalties, you know, really taking a toll. I mean, that's also played a big factor here today.
Absolutely. It's the story of the match has been the infringements at the breakdown and the infringements on the offside line. You can't have that. Looking ahead, both teams are going to need to adjust and try and prevent more needless mistakes, more needless offside penalties. If you do, the other teams are just going to creep up by 3 point by 3 point. You're not going to be able to climb your way back. We have the difference here on the scoreboard. Lusitanos just claiming a little bit of an edge, led from 12 points, so they led 12 points to 6 at the halftime mark.
And like Brussels and Delta, these two will match up again in round 2 next weekend. So we'll see what the adjustments will look like moving forward. Excited for that. I kind of like that to start. At least they'll mix them things up for round 3 and 4 and so on and so forth. But at least for the first couple weekends, we'll get to see these teams and what they look like next week. You know, same sides for the most part. New week, and a lot of things can change over the course of 7 days. Our last game of the weekend tomorrow, featuring the 2 Russian sides of things. NSI CSM and Lokomotiv Penza. Less than 5 minutes to go here until we reach that 80-minute mark.
Crutch. Bind. Set. Stability.
The Iberians probably will need one of those explosive plays we've talked about. Find some open space here. And like you said, Ali, maybe take advantage of a few more tired legs, possibly on the Portuguese side. That's how they would probably need to break through at this point. Short time.
There's still an opportunity here. You know, good scrum, 1 quick break, 5 points on the board. You know, it's only 10 points the difference. This is easily able to be tied up, or even, you know, if they're lucky here, they're able to get that points on, trying to sneak ahead. 2 scores the difference.
Nicolas Rocariz. The scrum half for this one. Great drive from the Iberians here into the Portuguese territory.
Lots of space out to the right-hand side.
Favre. And it's taken away, picked up by Ribeiro. Slicing his way through is Ubakasis. costly turnover by Iberians. Getch. And a whistle with a few guys, a few players on both sides of the equation down in lots of pain here.
Sadly, it looks like a head injury. So well done by the referee to stop the series of play, make sure the players are all right. We don't want anybody to be put in worse or in harm's way from the series of play here.
Yeah, that play ended. It was very physical, and that on all sides we had players down after the costly Iberians turnover right there. Ribeiro able to pick it up, and then sort of Ubukasi is just sort of taking it himself, trying to get it deeper, as deep as he could, just knowing that's another second that the Iberians would need to move the other direction. And it appears a stretcher is on the field, so kind of a scary moment here in Lisbon at the moment. Like you'd mentioned, Ollie, it appeared to be some sort of head injury, and like we talk about so often in the sport, safety is so important and definitely a point of emphasis when it comes to the laws that prescribe the game. To try and avoid moments like this. It's very unfortunate. I mean, we're in the 78th minute of this, and you see now the truck coming onto the field. Both sides sort of gathering themselves. We just had a few minutes to go here. Shows you sort of the physicality of the sport. Guys end with a lot of bumps and bruises. You can see the emergency vehicle is parked on the opposite side of the pitch here, ready to take the Iberians player out, but didn't get a chance to catch the number while he was on his back there. You did see a couple of players go over immediately, and with under concern, certainly. And like you had mentioned, Dolly, you saw Jonathan Dufont, the referee, immediately stop the match so they could attend to him. As they're doing everything they can to make sure that he is stabilized, taking every precaution to do this as safely as possible. Round of applause from the fans in attendance here in Lisbon. Look earlier at just the speed of Getch and what he has been able to do here today. That's one, maybe the play of the day, as you said, Ollie. I mean, on both sides. I mean, Paiva dos Santos doing a good job himself there of staying away from touch and making sure he was able to go and score.
It certainly was, an exciting play. Getch seems to be opening up, looking for those opportunities to slice through that defensive line. We really saw that early on in the second half, and just there, he was able to take that hard right-hand step, get through 2 defenders, draw them, break the line, and then look for the space out wide. I think both times he was able to put another player into a position to score.
Yeah, if we were to give maybe awards here in the first day, Getch certainly would get a star. Tay Campbell from Delta, along with Dan Vender Award. Those guys all playing and sticking out on the score sheet, certainly. And then the eyes, just by watching, of making a difference.
On the defensive side, Pikau has done a fantastic job for the Lusitanos today, scoring numerous turnovers, looking, solid in defense, really a defensive threat. I've really been impressed with number 7.
Pikau, the 24-year-old, Manuel, seen as one of the up-and-comers who has really helped himself on the main stage of Portugal since 2019, helped win them a U20 Euro title. A few guys on this Portuguese side have won those U20 championships, and now obviously trying to make that next step with the national team. And there's the round of applause as the cart is wheeled out of play. As soon as we can get it, we'll let you know the number of the athlete. And of course, our thoughts and prayers go to him and his family. As hopefully this is all for precautionary reasons, just to make sure that everything is okay, but not exactly what you want to see late in the match of what's been a great day of rugby, here at the Rugby Europe Super Cup. So it's 77-43 is what the time reads. We're playing to right around 80, depending on the referee's discretion. A 10-point advantage for Portugal is now, you sort of have to adjust. I'm not sure if you've experienced this in your career, Ali, but I mean, it's never an easy thing to get back there and play again, when something like this happens, and especially a long stoppage in the game.
It absolutely is, especially with only 2 minutes left on the clock. These players have to be trying to pull deep within themselves to find that momentum again. Pull out every little bit they have, get together as a unit, think about the next job they have in front of them, break it down into manageable bits, and these guys have to fight for the next few minutes still.
Okay, walk all. Perfect. Wait. C'est okay? C'est bon, Pierre? Pierre, c'est bon? C'est bon? Allez. Hey, here.
All right, so Jonathan Dufont blows his whistle. They will get the mark and get a scrum. This one for Portuguese.
Crunch. Bind. Set.
Off and away we go. Portugal trying to make something out of this quickly. A lot of space on that left side. Bello. Rodriga fights his way into the lines of the Iberians. What a stick there, good tackle. That was Elvar Jimeno.
Great little offload.
And back, and one more behind the back. Pikau there. Wide
Beautiful
open.
wide pass.
Who's open? It's Getch. Of course it is. His first try added on to his 5 kicks. A cherry on top for the Lusitanos. He has been the man of the match, and found himself by his lonesome there on this near side of the pitch. He'll go and get ready to kick now.
A fast and explosive attacking effort here from the Lusitanos. You know, a little bit messy to start with, but they pick it up, they find that break, and a few crafty offloads make their way to hand, and they're inside the 5-meter line. You know, this is a beautiful pass from number 22, the young player who came out from the Crusaders High Performance Academy, gets that ball wide and gets into the hands of Getch, who all he has to do is run under the sticks for an extra 5 points. These offloads here, fantastic to see. You know, if you open up the scoreline, there's 2 minutes left, flick out the back, have a go.
Joao Bello was the one with that behind the back pass. The final whistles have sounded. 34-19. The Portuguese, Lusitanos, takes down Spain. The Castilla y Leon Iberians here in their first match of the Rugby Europe Super Cup. And we saw the kicks come into fruition, and then the tries at the end for Portugal ended up being all that Spain could handle here today.
A wonderful game of rugby. What a thrill to witness the first 2 matches of the new Super Cup competition. We're excited to see how these teams develop. You know, great defensive efforts until about the last 20 minutes. A few mistakes around the penalties. Maybe we want to look at that. How can we avoid a few too many 3-point penalties that are going to cost them in the long run?
Yeah, those kicks really added up, as we saw the Iberians at times drove themselves into the Portuguese 22, but a couple of late penalties there on the doorstep undid that, and that would be a very different match if not for that. So I mean, I think that both of these sides, I think they're pretty talented and will certainly find themselves towards the top of this Western Conference as time goes on here in this over this course of this group play. It should be a good battle as time goes on. Belgium, Netherlands, Portugal, and Spain. Just 2 of those teams will head to the semifinals, and I think we'll know a lot more next week. You know, you can say anything after the first match, but after match 2, you get a better idea, right, of who's who and who will be a contender moving forward.
Absolutely. All these teams, their coaches are going to go look at the film from the other matches, compare and contrast. Where can we exploit? Where can we improve? Control the controllables. We talked about that. Young players on all these sides looking to build and add some momentum. There's a lot to reflect on, and they're going to come back together in a few days' time and have another go at it.
And of course, tomorrow will be our final match of the weekend when we see NSI STM take on Lokomotiv Penza. The 2 Russian squads will battle it out. They know each other very well, so that will be very, very interesting in that I think that they will really be quite competitive out there. And of course, we talked about how young guys of these teams are looking to move themselves up at the national level and trying to prove themselves, and now get to do it here in a competition like this. So I think tomorrow will also be rather intriguing when it comes to a lot of the storylines that we've seen over the course of the first couple of matches here thus far.
Absolutely. Expecting a very physical battle tomorrow morning. You know, the 2 Russian sides are going to have a lot to say to one another, and I think it's going to be an exciting one.
Well, our first match of the day featured the Delta squad from the Netherlands taking down the Belgians from the Brussels Devils side. And here in this afternoon, the second match here in Lisbon, saw the Portuguese being able to come out on top. Os Lobos, and you saw Noon Getch with those 5 kicks, 4 in the penalty variety, 2, 1 a conversion, also with a try, and really the man of the match in my estimation. You also mentioned, of course, Picao, Ali, and he have obviously also made a big difference defensively as the Portugal defense. Like you said, both defenses definitely made a difference here today. And we are waiting on the field. We will have some interviews with the athletes, so that's what we're waiting for. As of course, you have to take a picture. I mean, this is a pretty cool event. I mean, the Rugby Europe Super Cup, your first performance, you go out there and get a win at home. I mean, Instagram's all over the world, so you can go post that. I'm sure it'll do well. A lot of different places invested, of course, in seeing the growth of rugby, no matter where it is, whether it be those 6 nations in Europe or whatnot. As we take a look here, and it was all kicks, Ollie, to start this one, for sure. It was a battle between Getch and Katz, which made for an interesting setup, and those added up as time went on.
It absolutely was. Both teams were trying to mount some pressure, build the scoreboard, and settle into the match. We saw that the Lusitanos took a 12-point lead over 6 in the first half. That story about the penalties around the breakdowns, that really continued. We had a few penalties and offsides off the kicks, and the referee was very clear in his expectations on what he wanted to see from the players to avoid that. Next week, I'm hoping that these teams can look at those mistakes and say, you know what? We can avoid the needless errors. We can avoid the 3-point penalties. Let's just go back to what we do. Let's get into our defensive structure. Let's flip the field. Let's play in the right parts of where we want to go. When they did that, when they were
go on. I'm sorry, I apologize.
No worries. When they were doing that, the points were coming. We'll take the 3 points, but when we're playing, when we got the momentum, when we find our flow and our rhythm, these teams were really, really hard to stop.
And we saw the Iberians score their first try, and the lead was cut to 3. And we saw the highlight there of Paiva dos Santos and Marta, and there was that immediate response from Portugal, and that seemed to really tip the scales in this one. It felt like the Iberians had worked, got it to within three, and then seconds later, Portugal was able to score right off of their kick.
Exactly. The kick restarts are so crucial. The Iberians are going to have to look at that and think about what they need to do to improve that. Don't switch off. You do one thing right, you cannot mistake. You have to focus on your next job.
And Portugal did a good job of that right to the very end. And we saw the Iberians try to put up a battle, but Portugal kept on adding. And we did see them, and it was so funny because I had mentioned how in the first half they didn't really get past into the 22 of Spain, but then were able to do so time after time. Seemed like that was definitely a point of emphasis at halftime, with Getch finally putting the cherry on top.
It absolutely must be. Pressure into points. You maintain the pressure. When you get there, you keep it on. The pressure is not, you can't sustain without scoring for too long. Defense is going to fold.
So as they continue to take the picture and enjoy their spoils, let's send it down to the pitch for more.
The win was very difficult in Jamor. You felt that it was decisive for the game.
The wind, I don't think that it wasn't. I mean, it didn't help, but I think more in the rucks and that we lost. That's where we lost the game. We were losing. We didn't win the contact area and couldn't generate quick ball for us. And obviously, with the players that you have, they were always on the ball, so it kind of slowed our game down a bit in the way we wanted to play.
Thank you. Best of luck. Nice trip.
The hunger certainly there for Tomas Appleton, the captain of Team Portugal, coming out with a victory today. One more look at round one and the fixtures that will ensue here after today. Those first two are done in the books. Delta and Lusitanos, the winners tomorrow. Make sure to tune in for Anisai, STM, Lokomotiv, Penza, the Russian teams, as the Eastern Conference gets underway. And then we'll see Georgia and Tel Aviv. They will battle later on in the month of October. So round one continues here over the course of this weekend in the Rugby Europe Super Cup. A couple of great battles so far, expecting more tomorrow and as time goes on as well. But that'll do it for our coverage here from Lisbon in Portugal. For Ollie Engelhart and the rest of our team, I am Tom Eschen. Thanks for watching. See you next time.